Hello, I am Stardust and whatever. I have a Discord. Link will be in the description. And with that said, we'll hit that intro. Now, Izuku. Alright, so Izuku will kind of be like. Alright. So Izuku will get his abilities from a lab. Not like the last, one. The Black Lightning one, no. He would get his powers from experimental testing. Basically, they were trying to see if they could give quirkless people quirks. And they were basically trying to give Izuku a quirk of being able to turn anything into gold. But what they did not expect was for the test to go wrong. One of their test experiments, to be precise, they were trying to see if people could get the powers of invulnerability, super strength, and basically the power to destroy anything. And their systems began to overload. Now, Izuku was inside of his pod, and these pods were almost 100%, guaranteed to protect people. Well, the type of pod he was in, at least. It was the only one completed to 100% keep someone safe. All the other ones were basically, they were durable, but it wasn't a 100% chance. The lab then exploded, causing everybody inside of it to die. Now, the police come down and they check to see if they find any survivors. And a bunch of people's, families are crying. Mothers, wives, well, widows at this point. Until they dig up Izuku's pod. And they notice something weird about him. They notice that his entire pod is made out of gold. They also noticed that his hand had turned into gold. Now, this kind of shocked everyone because they'd think inside of such a lab, they'd be building testing tubes that is stuff more durable than, gold. But unfortunately, no. Well, fortunately, yes, but no. So far, what they're thinking is no. Now, they question Izuku after him waking up, maybe a few weeks after the accident. Now, Izuku basically says all he remembers is seeing fire come down the hall, and the walls start to basically, burst open. Now, he says he doesn't remember anything else, but so far, that's all he can remember. Now, because Izuku's just a child and he's unlikely to lie to people, they basically believe him because why not? Why would he have a reason to lie to them? Why would he defend someone that killed thousands of people? This wasn't a small experiment, this was a big one. Many quirkless people from around the world had traveled to Japan just to get this. Just to get the chance of getting a quirk. No matter how old they were. Now, they also believe him because his slate was basically clean. And he got such a powerful power in the first place. Because they, tested him and saw he almost had no greed inside of his body. Just the will to protect people. Now, Izuku has to wear gloves, of course, because of his ability. And they basically learned that Izuku turns anything to gold. Even his gloves. Weirdly enough, not everything has to be as hard as gold. So, After questioning, they basically send Izuku back, and Izuku gets to work on his suit. Why so soon? You're asking. Well, honestly, because better is safe than sorry. Izuku was a lot smarter inside of this one, so he calculated about the size that he would be when he was able to go to UA, which would be when he's 15. Now, after making this suit, he's basically, tired, so he goes to sleep. Time skip a few years, and no one really bothers Izuku. I know what you're asking, why wouldn't they? Because he had some type of fake quirk, and from, what Bakugo was like, and yeah, how Bakugo was like. They just see him as some type of fake hero. The reason why is because they've seen Izuku turn things into, alive things into physical gold. So it was basically this file that got leaked to the outside world. And on file, he turned a chameleon into gold. Now this shocked everybody, because they thought that he couldn't turn organic things into gold, or he would have been by now become one of the most powerful, people on the planet, at least inside of Tyrians. Now, when I say anything, I mean anything. The doctors have seen him turn fire into gold, air into gold, all this other stuff. But depending on how high it is, depends on how much focus it takes him. So to turn air into gold, he had to stay there for about an hour. But to turn everything else into gold, it was a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes, sometimes a few seconds. Now to turn an entire person into gold, since humans are complicated, but they ain't that complicating, it takes maybe a few seconds. Not instantaneously, but maybe like 20, 15 seconds. Well, 20, 15 seconds, yeah, I was right. Now, one day, he's attacked by, of course, the sludge villain. Now, Izuku doesn't know what to do. His mom always told him to, keep his powers not hidden exactly from outside people that don't already know about him or have seen him since he's grown up, but from people in general. Make people think that the power slowly dwindled away and he was left with just golden hands. Now, the sludge villain basically starts suffocating him. And at this point, he's thinking of multiple ways to get out of this. If he turns the entire sludge villain into gold, he'll be turned to gold. Or at least he'll be trapped inside of gold, which will give him even less air to go off. If he tries to go for certain parts, the sludge villain will catch on and probably just try to kill him the more painful way, since the sludge villain did say that there was more painful ways for him to suffocate Izuku. Third, he can maybe try to freeze the ground under him, but he's not sure about. Not freeze the ground, turn the ground into gold. Sorry, other ideas. Wink, wink. But he can turn the ground below him into gold, maybe stunning the sludge villain. Now, I get that people have quirks, but turning things into gold isn't really a scene quirk in general. Or he can try to turn the upper part of the Sledgeland into gold, which would also be a risk because, well, he doesn't know whether the Sludgeland, he doesn't know if the Sludgeland can turn his body parts into certain parts of his body. Like if he turns the gold into the head into gold. Sorry, I don't know why I've been saying words backwards. But if he turns the head into gold, it might just transfer into another head on another part of his body. He also might die, which Zuko doesn't feel comfortable killing people. And then again, there's always the chance that he can see without his body, or still feel. So, Zuko goes through thousands of different scenarios in his head, but he can't come up with one that can help him, that can actually work, that can keep him from dying. By the time he actually does come up with one, he feels his limbs start to give away. He starts to pass out slowly. Just as he's about to lose consciousness, he hears Detroit smash as he feels a giant weight lifted off of him and a gust of wind. Now he also feels, everything around him fly off of him, some debris, maybe some rocks. He then passes out, and he wakes up later on the ground, with All Might asking him, is he okay? He basically gets up as he's basically more like, what happened? All Might then explains to him, what happened? As All Might kind of pats him on the back and says, young Midoriya, you truly are a hero. For, being able to withstand suffocating for that long. Now, Izuku then smiles, because being called a hero by the, top hero is kind of an honor. Now, Izuku then grabs onto All Might's leg before he jumps off. And All Might then notices something on his leg as he looks back. As he tries to shake Izuku off, as Izuku's like, if I fall from here, I'm going to die. Land! And All Might just basically, hits the ground as he asks Izuku, what does he want? And Izuku basically asks, do you think there's a chance of me being a hero with the only use of my quirk being able to cripple or kill people? As All Might's basically like, if I'm being completely honest, yeah, but maybe not inside the way that you think. Maybe becoming a support hero, creating stuff, something like that. You can become a police officer, you could work at a hospital. Things like that also help people. But with your power, I don't think you're able to become anything but what people will call you, which is a monster. This kind of causes Izuku to get a little bit sad, as All Might basically, says, I gotta go. As soon as he says that, he de-transforms. Now, yes, I do know he did say that when he was de-transformed the first time inside the anime. As he explains the whole thing to Izuku, but Izuku isn't really paying attention to that. He's still, hearing the whole you can't become a hero thing, ringing inside of his head, reverberating. Now, All Might basically transforms back and jumps away. Now, unlike the canon, this doesn't cause him to become sad. No. This causes him to become angry. So angry, in fact, he draws blood from his hands, which should be almost impossible since his hands are made out of gold. They're soft like skin, but they're actually very durable. As he basically punches a wall and walks away. Now, on the news, while walking back home, on one of the TVs, he basically sees the sludge villain again escaped, and he has a boy inside of his, dang, I can't think. He has a boy hostage. Now, Izuku looks at the face as his eyes widen, as he's like, that's Bakugo. As he goes running off, because he knows the area. Now, Izuku then sees what's going on while running towards the crowd of people. To see the sludge run basically saying, if you don't all leave right now, I'll instantly. Now, this doesn't really make sense to Izuku since he's like, if they do leave, Bakugo still lives. But if they don't leave, Bakugo dies. What's so hard about this situation? He's just confused. He's like, I don't hate Bakugo, actually I see him as my friend. But wouldn't it just be smarter to just run in anyway? And take down the sludge villain? Now, while he's thinking, he then looks over to see a D-Transforms All Might. As Loki's out of his head, he says, how about that for not being able to become a hero? As he snaps out of his thoughts as he's like, no. My friend slash classmate slash neighbors right there. I need to save him before, being angry. Now, as he thinks that, he then goes running off towards the sludge villain, past the hero's arm. He then jumps into the sludge villain, and he basically says, time to use all of my battle plans. As he's like, if I'm correct, I can focus on only the sludge villain's body. And since I know how big the sludge villain is, since I was already swallowed from the sludge villain the first time, I can already know not to, engulf Bakugo inside of blood. Well, gold. My fault. Gold. I also know that the heroes are right there, which means they'll probably check inside to see if we're okay. Now, as he's thinking that, he then uses his hands to slowly turn the sludge villain into gold. Now, he's doing it slower than what his normal speed is, which is about the same speed as, freezing steel. And he's doing this so then the sludge villain doesn't notice his body turning into gold from the inside out. Now, after a while, Izuku then notices, the sludge villain notices that he's being, turned into gold. As the sludge villain tries to do something about it, and all of a sudden, bam! Izuku turns the entire sludge villain into gold, engulfing both himself and Bakugo. Now, they have a small air pocket. Izuku already knows that he'll use up all the air by the time he inhales. But he's still less likely to die. He can hear the people running towards him, slowly since, he's thinking all of this in his mind, but he can hear them, which means they're approaching them in general. Now, he basically takes one deep breath and holds it. As on the left of him, he hears what sounds like breaking. As he hears some loudmouth as he's like, must be Bakugo. Now, as he's thinking that, he's like, they're taking a while to break me out. But then again, Bakugo was kind of more farther on the left, and I'm in the middle of the sledge. He basically thinks, am I gonna die this way? Dang, that really sucks. Could be worse. And I tell you, as soon as he thinks that, he then gets broken out of, well, Sludgeon, or what used to be the Sludgeon, as the hero pulls him out. Now, after this happens, Izuku's looking around, gasping for air, as he sees the crowd applauding. But to the crowd's surprise, he gets handcuffs put on him. Now, he basically looks at this as the heroes say, you're under arrest for murder and vigilante work. And that's when we'll leave it off. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. If you didn't, get off my video. Not needing. And with that said, I'll see you later. Join the Discord. Bye.
Let me come back in with some real exclusive shit. Take your index finger, cock it, GDK, drop it.